President Trump invoked lynching today when talking about the constitutionally protected impeachment inquiry. He said, quote, "All Republicans must remember what they are witnessing here, a lynching." Let's be clear. Lynchings were terrorism, plain and simple, slaughter used to terrify African Americans and prop up white people's hold on power. More than 4,000 African Americans were lynched from 1877 to 1950. That's according to the Equal Justice Initiative called Lynching in America. I say at least because many lynchings were never recorded. Note the end date here, 1950. Lynching is part of many living Americans' experience. There are more than 40 million African Americans living in America today. Now, for those who don't know firsthand its horror, one example, the story of Mary Turner, will suffice to help you understand what lynching is. And warning, this is disturbing. Mary and her husband Hayes lived in Georgia. He was accused of killing their abusive plantation owner in 1918. Mary denied Hayes' involvement. No trial was ever held. Hayes Turner was shot and killed. A mob then came for Mary, hanging her from the Folsom Bridge in Georgia, by her ankles, upside down. Then they drenched her with gasoline and motor oil, and then they set her on fire. Mary Turner lived through that. A member of the mob then took a knife and cut open her stomach. She was pregnant. Her unborn child fell to the ground. The baby was stomped and crushed. That's what lynching is. But President Trump used the word lynching as a way to identify himself as a victim. President Trump seems like he wants the world to believe he's the most persecuted president in history. He seems to want to distract us from the ongoing impeachment inquiry. An impeachment inquiry is democracy in action, prescribed by the Constitution, checks and balances at its very core. It is not a lynching. No matter what happens in the Capitol in the coming months, the president will potentially have a chance to make his case, to tell the country he's not guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors, and offer evidence in a trial in the United States Senate. And comparing one of the most hideous acts on the African American community in America's history to a political act is simply inappropriate. Mary Turner never saw a trial of any kind, neither did her husband. She's one of those people whose stories are now told at the National Memorial for Peace and Justice in Montgomery, Alabama, a solemn place that remembers the lives and the deaths of those who were lynched, a place where our painful history and the words we use about that history do matter.